want to thank you, Eric, because it is now 1 year since we've been working together. Happy anniversary. Jack Schulman is amazing. I met him, we think about 3 years ago, maybe 2, in Orlando, Florida, where he was doing the video film producing part of it. He's a producer for video and film. He's an audio engineer with over 30 years of experience. He was mostly doing TV commercials, and he'll tell you the story about how he evolved and ended up in beautiful Delray, which has amazing people, like amazing. Their Chamber of Commerce and the people that take care of the city are top notch. It's incredible. I watched a couple of the things that he was producing, and you just find out so many interesting things about people. He does internet videos, corporate videos, training videos, music videos, but his love of his life, besides his dog and his partner, is playing and making music. Singing, producing his videos, his songs, playing the guitar, the drums. He is one of the most amazing guys, and he's filmed and produced so many important people that it is just so fun. Can you imagine the connections this guy has for relationship capital? Let me bring to the stage Mr. Jack Schulman. Woo-hoo!
Wow. I'm impressed. I want to meet this guy.
Yeah, right? I want him to produce something for me. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I got to get on that too.
Yes, it's so wonderful to have you. Thank you so much. It's very interesting because we met at the Turn It Up Mastermind in Orlando, Florida. And we were just trying to figure out what year that was. 2 years ago, 1 year, 3.
I think it was 3, but it could have been 2. I don't know. You know, with COVID and everything got all like crazy, and I can't keep track anymore.
Well, that's how I met Jack Schulman and his beautiful partner, Allison Turner, who makes such a magnificent team. And they were both there. And let me see, Craig Doswood, Ken Walls, Glenn Morshower, Nick, the football player that kicked the field goal. What's his name?
Oh, the kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes. Hey, Nick, I'm sorry. You have to come on my show so I can remember your name.
Yeah.
James Bobar from Phantom of the Opera. Oh, it was an amazing group of people. And Jack was there making the whole thing run and make it beautiful and so fun. And he's so personable with all of his people. And Jack is now getting ready to start a TV show. And he's got so many things going. Like all of us are reinventing himself. Listen to what Jack's doing. Jack.
Oh, you want me to speak? No.
Oh, no, that's okay. I can probably tell you the whole story anyway, because we did such a wonderful dry run this morning. He was magnificent. He was on fire. I'm like, okay, bring it. Because you're amazing.
Yeah, I was still delirious from waking up. So yeah. So like Cynthia said, I'm a video producer, audio engineer, doing some music production here in Delray Beach. We have a studio with 2 large green screens. And, you know, we film a lot in here. I just got done working with a producer in New York who came down here with his people to do a 3-day shoot for a rock album, which I can't tell you who the band is, but it's the, I had the name of the album, The Spirit of 2036, I believe is it. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, so we spent 3 days. We spent the first day tracking drums. So we recorded the drums in multiple tracks, did 6 of those. The next day we ran out to the beach with a drone, got some footage of the acting on the beach, and we caught some other footage with another camera up on the ground. And then we came back here and hurried up and we did some green screen video. And then the actors switched into green outfits. So I had to hang a blue screen so we could, you know, take out the background. In case you're not familiar with how green screen and blue screen work, whatever is green gets taken out. Whatever is blue gets taken out in blue screen. So you put a screen behind you of a solid color and you do what's called keying it out. And then you put whatever background you want in there. And that's what we did. So it is crazy. We were shooting outer space scenes. So we had an astronaut floating in space. The guy actually had a real astronaut outfit. It was crazy. Then
Ooh.
we came in here and they put on their army fatigues and were acting like they were in Vietnam, and we filmed them in front of the blue screen. And then the other one, well, I don't want to say because it's kind of controversial, but a very religious figure. We filmed walking on water on the beach and stuff like that. And it's a crazy rock opera this guy wrote, and and that's my latest project for him, anyways. Not to mention the project I'm working on for myself and half a dozen other people. I
That
sleep.
is delightful. That gives you your passion. That's why you get up and go and have all these projects.
Yeah, because it is my passion. I love doing it for me. I love doing it for others. I just love creating something that wasn't there before. So
Mm.
like when you create a music video, even a song, you're creating something that wasn't there. Well, if you want to get real scientifically, yes, you're taking existing energy and you're converting it into another energy form, like music. You know, you're taking your air from your lungs and you're singing, and that is becoming music. And it's the same with the musical instruments. The strings that vibrate at certain frequencies on the guitar, that's an energy that creates music. So it's not really creating something from nothing. It's really converting energy from one form to another. And I just love doing that. And when I put it in those words, it makes me feel scientific, like I'm creating something for science.
Or
I'm
for
a
the divine,
scientist.
for whatever religion you are, you're taking it up and bringing it up and offering your gift.
Yep, I'm a scientist. I'm working with science.
Beautiful. It's very well stated. I love that. Very a creative way of explaining it.
Yeah, I just pulled that off the top of my head as I was speaking about creating it from thin air. I realized, I don't know, it just hit me out of nowhere. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm just really converting energy, and I never thought of it that way before until just this moment. Wow.
To give you a little background on Jack, he's had a very interesting career and he's been on his own for years and years, like 20, 30, 40 years. Maybe you're
Yeah.
not that old.
Well, I mean, in the 80s, I was a touring rock musician. In the 90s, I was a DJ, made more money as a DJ than anything I'd ever done in my life. I can't believe what DJs make when you get the right job. And then I left that to become a video producer. And that's what I've been doing. I actually started that in the 90s, but I really got going. I quit DJing at the end of the century and been doing video production ever since. And in 2015, I started playing music again. So music came back into the picture.
Because that makes your soul dance.
It does. I can't explain it. I just love making music. I do. I love working with various musicians of different styles. I love being able to sit in with them because I play bass, I play guitar. I'm really a bass player professionally. And I love playing different genres of music. I'll sit down one day and play with a jazz musician. The next day, record with a rock musician, blues musician, country musician. It's just, and I can't do the rap R&B thing so much though, because it's more keyboard based from what I hear. I've had a couple artists in here and I wasn't playing what they wanted. So for the first time in my life, I was told that's not what we want. And it made me very sad.
Oh, but you're so talented. You can't be everything to everyone. You've got so many special things about you. You gotta let that one go. Whew, it's gone.
Yeah, well, after being sad for a few minutes, I was okay again.
Oh, we got a Facebook user saying, hi, let us know who you are and share us out.
Hi, Jack.
Hi, Jack.
Yeah.
Do you want to go into your new venture, or do you want to talk about old ventures? Or do you want to talk about the wonderful people that you have already worked with? A little bit of all of them.
Okay, well, we'll hit a little bit of all that. So let's see, who have I worked with? Well, not so many people in the music industry. I've had a handful here and there, but as far as the people that I've worked with, the big names that I've worked with that people would know wouldn't be so much in the music industry. It'd be more in my filming side, because I took 26 years off of music. So in that time, I've worked with a lot of people, especially on the video side. So I've worked with, I filmed presentations from John Sculley, I bring him up first because he's probably the most fascinating person I personally have ever listened to, only because John Sculley was the former CEO of Apple and PepsiCo. He's the guy who was there in the room when Steve Jobs and Bill Gates were trying to decide how to release personal computers to the world. He was in there and he explained in detail why they did it the way they did. With Bill Gates said, let's just put it out there and let everybody build it up themselves and make it better themselves. Steve Jobs wanted more quality control, so he wanted to stay on top of it. And that's why they split. And people don't know that Bill Gates used to work for Apple. And then he left Apple to form Microsoft. You know, a lot of people associate PCs as coming out before Apple. And I don't know really which one came out first, because PCs were based on DOS, which was actually created by Xerox. And Bill Gates bought it from Xerox. So, but anyway, listening to all this stuff from John Sculley, to me, was just absolutely amazing. One of the sad things was he said that he was Steve Jobs was his best friend, but because he was the chairman of the board, or the CEO, he was the CEO and the board wanted Steve Jobs gone. So he had to be the one to fire him. And Steve Jobs went to his grave hating him. And John says that's the one thing that will always bother him. Sad story. But anyway, then another one of my favorites that I filmed was Jack Canfield. Jack Canfield, a whole different
noodle soup guy.
Yeah, the guy who wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul. He was tied into The Secret. He's written a lot of other books I haven't kept up. But what I liked about him was I've never filmed a 3-hour presentation before without falling asleep. I filmed him for 3 hours, and he's brilliant because he knows how to read the room, and he would look at the room, and as he's speaking, if people are starting to nod off and he sees they're disinterested or going to their phones, all of a sudden he puts this hysterical image on the screen. Just think of the funny, I mean, he had to pay to have someone a lot of money to have these screenshots, because you just looked at them and you just die laughing. They were hysterical.
Really? Oh, that sounds good.
So what happened was, now he had all these people after 45 minutes or half hour, even whatever it was, and they're starting to doze off, and he puts a funny image on the screen. Everybody's laughing. Now they're all awake again, and boom, they're refreshed, and he does it again until the next time. He's brilliant. I learned so much about him as far as keeping people's attention, because people's attention span is very short. So for him to keep people engaged for 3 hours was amazing. Other people I filmed presentations from Ben Carson, who some of you might know, the neurosurgeon that ran for president. He was very interesting. It was a very non-political presentation. I filmed Tim Gannon, who founded Outback Steakhouse. Outback Steakhouse. He talked about creating the blooming onion. Everybody knows what the blooming onion is, right?
Everyone gets one when you go.
Yeah. And to hear him talk about how he created it, I think it was like a recipe he got from his mother or something. I don't remember, but that was incredible to listen to. Yeah, I know those damn mothers. But I've filmed a lot of other people, but it's all the same. Those were the main ones who, out of the few hundred, maybe 1,000 I filmed, those are the ones that really stuck with me.
Kevin Harrington, Shark Tank.
Oh, Kevin Harrington as well. Yeah, so he took Shark Tank on the road for a while. He and Laura Langemeyer. I don't know if you know who Laura Langemeyer is. She's another great self-help speaker / coach. So they took the Shark Tank on the road for a while, and I filmed a couple of those. It was for an organization called WPN, Women's Prosperity Network, which was run.
That's where you met Allison.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, and back Craig, in 2011. What's that?
And Craig.
And that's why I met Craig Dustwalt as well. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, because I filmed Craig there. I filmed him that was the same year that I filmed Jack Canfield and Laura Langemeyer. They were all at the same event, and I used to do all their AV. So I provided sound, projected. I did the AV for that.
You sound so smart. How did you get the training to do that video? Grace wants to know, how were you trained in video?
Well, it started in 1992 when a camera fell off the back of a truck and someone sold it to me. At least that was the story. And I was working in a club, and I would just bring the camera in at night and just shoot stuff just for fun. And people would like, "Oh, get me my friend. Oh, get me my friend." So I started doing that, and then some performers that would come in the club say, "Hey, I'll pay you to film our performance." And so then in like the mid 90s, I decided to go back to school. I went to the Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale to learn video and film production and computer animation. So and then I came out of there, and I just took off just filming. And as far as WPN, it's funny how it's all about networking. How it happened was crazy. My brother wanted to start a business, and he wanted me to do the video for the business. So we were doing this business, didn't go anywhere, didn't make any money. But this guy comes in out of nowhere, a photographer. We had a studio at a mall. The photographer comes in and said, "Hey, I belong to this network group. You want to go check out this network group?" I never heard of network groups before, but I went. I didn't like it. It just didn't appeal to me. But there was one woman there who said, "Look, there's this other networking group called the Palm Beach Networking Group. You got to come. You'll meet some really great clients." And I did. And I met a person there and this is all how I met Allison too, because I met someone there who introduced me to this woman named Kimberly, who was Allison's business partner. And so they were business partners, and I didn't meet Allison at this time, but I did a lot of work with Kimberly. And then she introduced me to WPN, and I started doing the work for them. And that's how I met Allison. And we knew each other for years, and it was just, if you knew Allison and I before, you would never picture us together. We're totally, totally opposite people, but opposites attract. And she had a digital marketing company and needed someone to do video. We both had tied our companies together until she eventually just said, "Why are we two companies? We're paying all these taxes. We could save money, just fold it into one company." So we were living together, and we decided just to fold my company into hers, since she was the more organized, much smarter than me. So, and we've been doing this together now we've been together now 8 years. Yeah, so we've been working now and living together, working together 8 years, living together almost as long. And we get along great. So.
And what's the name of it?
Batcat Media Group.
Yes.
Not Batman, not Bad Cat, like somebody tried to sell. Yeah, someone sold money to Bad Cat Media. I'm like, well, you just gave someone else money for free. But yeah, like Batman, but not Batman, because it's Batcat. And we can't compare ourselves in any way to Batman, because we got the logo and the name. We got it all trademarked. So, but only as long as we don't go into the same genre, because it's too closely related. So.
And I know you've got 5 dogs. Do you have any cats?
Yes. So we have 5 dogs and 2 cats.
Ah.
Yeah, you can't let Allison and I anywhere near a shelter. So we have 2 Chihuahuas, which are basically her little babies. Then we have my babies, which are a Mastiff Shepherd, a 2-year-old Husky Akita mix. She's a doll. She's gorgeous. And my daughter, who's living with us, has a pit bull. So 2 Chihuahuas, a pit bull, a Mastiff Shepherd, and a Husky, and 2 cats. And the cats are just cats, but they're great. They all get along. I mean, sometimes they'll annoy the cats because they like to chase them, but they won't hurt them, and the cats know it, and they just turn around and paw at the dogs, and the dogs go away.
One happy family.
Sometimes we even bring them to work with us.
Yeah, that's one of the benefits of being the owners of the company, right? You can do that. And you have a studio in your house, and you have an office in your house. You each do, and then you have one in a. And then
we have the office studio where I'm at right now, where I was trying to set my nice camera up and lights, and I thought, oh, I'm a video producer. This is going to look so nice. And I find that apparently my hardware doesn't work with the software that you're using. So, and it might work, and I just don't know how. But anyways, at least I'm back. I'm just using my camera mic and camera. I mean, my computer mic and camera.
Do your animals like the music? Do you play your guitar and your drums when the animals are in there? Do they come dance, wiggle their tails?
They just ignore it. They're like, oh, he's at it again. and they just kind of ignore him. Now, my mastiff shepherd will sometimes come over with a toy, and I don't know if he wants to play or if he's trying to get me to shut up.
Oh, that's so fun. That's so fun. There's a woman that I admire that you also did a video for, Sharon Lecter, Think and
Oh,
Grow.
Sharon Lecter, yeah.
Yeah. What did you do for her?
And just like with Jack Canfield, I filmed a presentation. So I get hired to film presentations that they give to these large groups. So she gave a presentation. Also did WPN. That's right. It was a different year. But WPN is Women's Prosperity Network. I don't know how far out they go, but I know they're in multiple states. But they're basically a women's organization to help promote professional women and just a women's community. They're a remarkable organization. And so they brought Sharon Lecter in one year, and I filmed her, and she talked about her writing Think and Grow Rich for Women.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she said it would be a little different than the one for men, and it was more updated for women who could now go out in the workplace. I thought that was fascinating. And oh my God, she is such a wonderful person to sit down and talk to.
Yes. She's lovely.
Yes, she is. She is. I can't speak highly enough about her, and I've only really met her a couple times.
Yeah, I only met her once, but I was like, wow, I would like to get to know this woman. I, of course, went and got the book.
Yeah, I even read some of the book.
Oh, she really impressed you.
Well, I was getting in touch with my feminine side, I guess.
Good thing.
I figured it's in there somewhere. I just haven't found it yet.
Let me see. I think you can tap into it when you want to.
You know, I have a saying that goes along with it, but I don't know if it's the proper company to say it.
Well, try us.
Okay, so that's right. Where I won't be beeped. Yeah, so it's like, okay, I'll have to go back to WPN for this. I did a lot of work with them. They're a great organization, like I said. So here's a line I used, and it was because they brought me up to stage once because I was usually one of the only men in the room. And sometimes when people would see behind the scenes stuff, the husbands of the women were like, oh, I can't go. Why? There's a man. Why is that man there? So what they did, it was sort of as a joke, but it did appease some of the men, was they brought me to the stage and gave me an award, the Certified Female Award. So they gave me a physical award, a frame award that said Certified Female. And so when I got that, and Nancy Matthews, who is one of the sisters that owns WPN, said, would you like to say anything? And I'm looking at all these women out there, and I'm a man, and I'm thinking to myself, and nothing against gay people. I have nothing against gay people, but I didn't want them to think I was gay because I'm a man in a room full of 400 women. So you kind of understand that, right? So first thing out of my mouth was, I just want to let everyone know I am a lesbian. The room went totally quiet. I'm like, did I just screw up? And then all of a sudden everybody started laughing. It took a moment. They were shocked at first, but then they started laughing. But I'm female certified. So what am I going to say? I'm like, I got to let them know that I like women, you know? So that was the first thing that came out of my mouth. So yeah, that's what I guess when I get in touch with my lesbian side, well, my feminine side is the lesbian side. That's what I tell people.
Well, laughter is the best medicine.
But if I could tell you how many layers of sweat I sweated in what seemed like forever until they laughed. But yeah.
And it was probably less than 30 seconds.
And you know what was great about it? And it made me realize when you shock people, it gives them an excuse to talk to you. Like they may not otherwise talk to you, but if you shock them, they will. So many of them came up to me afterwards because of that comment about, really? Oh, I loved your comment. Oh, what you said was awesome. Are you really a lesbian? You know, all of these questions. And so it led to a lot of conversation. And I find that, you know, just like Jack Canfield woke people up by what? Putting a shockingly funny screen up to wake people back up again. And I think it's the same thing in a conversation. If you're having a conversation and you're losing people's attention, say something funny or say something to shock them. You'll get their attention again, and then they'll be focused until you lose it again, and then you do it again. And I've tried that experimentally, working with musicians sometimes that get so lost in their head. And I'll just say something to totally shock them, and all of a sudden they're back in the real world. So yeah, just a little thing that I find works for me anyways.
So a blind man walked into a bar with his blind seeing dog, and he got to the bar and he sat down and he took his dog and he was whirling it around. And the manager came over and said, Can I help you with something? He said, no, I'm just looking around.
Not that I was falling asleep, but if I was, I'd be awake now.
I just wanted to make sure.
Oh, that's funny. That was good.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. We got the animal part in and we got the, yes.
Yes.
Ah, so you also did something that's very near and dear to my heart, the junior achievement of the
Yes.
Palm Beaches. Tell us about that. Because I'm,
So,
I'm into everyone reading and everyone swimming in the world. So junior achievement, I remember junior achievement, and that is an excellent thing for our youngsters.
junior achievement. So for them, they used to do a show, a production every year at the Kravitz Center, which is a big theater here in, well, it's in West Palm Beach, just north of us. And what they would do is they would go to the schools and they would get find the best singers in those, the best seniors in those schools, and they would bring them together for a competition, and then the top 5 finalists would then present actually perform on the professional stage at the theater, and they would sing with a piano, and I would film it and I would put it up. It's a huge theater, so I would put it up on the huge screens so they'd have the close, they'd be on, so they felt like stars, because here they are, they're high school singers, and now they're on a huge stage in front of hundreds of people, and they see their image on the big TV screens. So it was a great thing, and it was their biggest fundraiser of the year. So they'd raise a lot of money for junior achievement, and I'm a big fan of junior achievement, considering what it does for for kids. A lot of especially like a lot of low income kids that can't get what they get from junior achievement elsewhere. And I'm such a lover of animals and children. I mean, there's an organization here in Delray Beach. Take note of it. It's called Roots and Wings. Roots and Wings is an organization run by a good friend of mine, Ted Hoskinson. And what they do is they try to help. Okay, let me get back up. So if children can't read at level by 3rd grade, if they can't read at 3rd grade level by 3rd grade, statistics show that they normally will not catch up. So they could be illiterate. What Roots and Wings does is they work with those students to help them learn to read at grade level. We have a big Haitian population here, and these kids don't get, a lot of what they need as far as education. So I have 2 great organizations. That one, Roots and Wings, which helps the children in that way. They also honor teachers by gifting teachers every month. They go to a different school and they give like all these. They just give all these gifts to the teachers in front of the class, so that all the students are proud of their teachers, and the teachers feel great. They're getting all these gifts, which some of it is money, gift cards, flowers, but Roots and Wings is all about education. And I love this organization. And the thing about them is it's 100% give back. The whole organization is volunteer. There's not one person in that makes money. It's all given back. That's hard to say about most charities and nonprofits. And there's another one, Eat Better, Live Better is another one. And I've given my time to these organizations to help promote them, because I'm all about them. Eat Better and Live Better. Eat Better, Live Better is run by a woman named Deborah Tendrich. And what they do is they raise money and food. And she has a place that's just stockpile, a warehouse of food. What they do is they get all these donations. Then they take those donations and deliver them to families that can't get out to do their own grocery shopping. They don't have money. They may be like, they could be on, welfare or homeless. They're just making sure that that everybody gets fed. And these are 2 organizations so dear to my heart that yes, I will donate my time for them.
Are they just in Delray, or are they?
They're based in Delray. Roots and Wings is moving out farther and farther. Both of them would. I mean, neither one of them is going to say no to anyone in trouble. So I mean, if there's any way I'm promoting them in any way, shape, or form on your show, that would be so great.
So great.
These are people. Yeah, these are people that are. I mean, I know them well enough to know they're all about giving. And that's I mean, Deborah Tendrich, who owns Eat Better Live Better, is running for Florida House right now. So I don't
Ooh,
remember which district, but she's a giver. And if she gets in, I just see how that's going to help her district a lot, because then she can branch out with her organization and feed more people. So
wow, that is fantastic. I feel like Roots and Wings could be national. I mean, it's just
Roots and Wings could definitely be national. I mean,
I eat
and
better, live better. I think the whole world needs to be on that one.
yeah, well, I tried to get him to Grant Cardone's people, Ken, and
Yes, he says you're one of his favorite people.
yeah, and I was trying to get it, but I don't know Grant. And I was trying to get it to him through some of the people when we went to one of his events, but apparently it didn't go anywhere because I spoke to Ted. He hasn't heard anything back from them.
Well, don't stop. They're busy people. If you
Yeah,
could
oh, I know.
tie it into them, I bet he needs to do some of
No,
this.
I mean, I could lay some groundwork, but I get so busy with my stuff that it's so hard for me to stay on top of stuff. So I try anywhere I go that I think I can talk about Roots and Wings or Eat Better, Live Better. I do, just because they're the people that run them are people that are very dear to my heart because of what they do. They're sincere, 100% authentic. And especially Roots and Wings, who doesn't take a dime. Nobody in there takes every 100% goes back to education, and they really work with these kids. It's amazing what they do, and the teachers and the principals of the schools, they so appreciate them.
Yes. So everyone can show a little more appreciation to the people in your lives. Don't take for granted the people at the United States Post Office, your mailman, your teachers, the crossing guards. Like, I'm actually bringing donuts to my post office box because they help me out with something. So I told I bring them donuts. Tomorrow's a really early day for me, but anyway, just something like that. Just a little appreciation. Easter's coming. I figured, some donuts. It might be fun. Yeah, and that kind of little thing. I've actually done it when you drive by to the people, the crosswalk people, and and they would go, oh, thank you, and you can do so much. Roots and Wings and Eat Better, Live Better, and what are you doing in your own community? Just little things like that, and maybe it takes off. Maybe you make someone smile. Maybe you just make someone happy. Plus, it makes you happy. You've got other good things happening down there. What's going on with the Quantum House attached to St. Mary's Hospital?
Well, I haven't done anything with them in a while. I used to, once again, I filmed interviews. There was an organization that another friend of mine put together called Portrait of a Woman. And Portrait of a Woman was honoring women matriarchs that donated or raised millions of dollars for charities. And Renee Plevy, who is a portrait artist, she would the women that were chosen to be honored, she would actually paint their portrait. And they'd honor about 5 of them. I think 5 of them a year it was. I did this for a few years too. And then they'd have a big luncheon on Palm Beach Island, and you could call that millionaire billionaire row. I mean, because everyone who lives on the island out there is, Palm Beach Island's very wealthy area. So by having the luncheons there, they could raise a lot of money for Quantum House, which was attached to St. Mary's Hospital. It's like a Ronald McDonald House. In other words, when you have terminally ill children and their families can't afford the expenses or to be there, say they have to fly them in, because St. Mary's Hospitals is a very very well-known children's hospital. And what they would do is they would put the families up there so they could be by these terminally ill children. And Portrait of a Woman raised money from the events to help fund this so that the families could be with their children. So that was another one. They quit doing it a while ago. People went in different directions, and Renee moved out of state, but that was very nice too. So I'm always willing to give for those in need, as long as I know the organization is true. But I have to be careful of that, because one year I had like 4 different organizations I was donating work for. And that year my income went way, way down. And when I look back at how much I had put, like a couple of hundred hours worth of time into videos that I didn't get paid for. But I felt good that I did it, but at the same time, I have to eat too. So I have to be careful because I have other charities that I've done work for as well, and I still continue to. But those are the main ones. Those Roots and Wings and Eat Better, Live Better are the ones that keep on popping up over and over again right now. So, I
And
mean,
Dan
I've done some, there
Dan
have been
also
others.
had a good idea. We can give them all peeps.
Yeah, yeah.
Your Passover. But I didn't mean to interrupt you. Please forgive me.
No, that's right. That's fine. I was actually done.
Oh, you're never done. You're doing such good stuff. You're such a loving and giving man.
Like you. That's why we get along so great. And also the group we're in is a very giving group too.
Oh, all our people are amazing.
I know. I'm 100% on your side there. Absolutely.
And it's so funny because Ken Walls is on, and we're going to see him at 8:00 or 8:05.
That's right.
Isn't that wonderful? Make sure you're on there because I'll be looking for you.
And
So-
maybe by then I'll have my camera fixed, so I don't have to use this one.
So can you walk us through the process? So you go from video to concept to final product. How do you manage all the people who are in this? Like if you're doing one for St. Mary's House, you've probably got the St. Mary's House people, you got the quantum people, you have the founder, you have the people that are doing whatever the event is, the luncheon or whatever. How do you manage all that?
Well, when I'm doing events like that, it's really just I get with whoever the event organizer and find out what needs to be done. And then I do everything through the event organizer so that, I'll film. I know they tell me what they need. I film it, and I do, of course, testimonials and stuff like that. And then I just give it all to the event organizer, and they make sure whatever needs to be done gets done from there. So that's why the nonprofit stuff. But in the studio, of course, it's a totally different thing because then it's all on me. So it's a two totally different approaches when I do events or versus doing work with a regular client, especially music clients or like the music videos I'm working on now. I mean, I've been swamped with music videos. Ask and you shall receive. I put it out there. I sit there every morning listening to Bob Proctor.
Excellent.
And one of the ones I listened to is one that actually Ken Walls turned me on to, was the one the meditation, his money presentation. Now I could say the whole thing, but now that I'm thinking of it, I can't even think of what it is. But it's Bob Proctor, and it's a meditation about.
Is it one that you wrote, or is it one of his?
No, it's one that Bob. It's a Bob Proctor meditation where he just repeats the same thing over and over again. I am so grateful for money that comes to me from different directions, from different quantities, and blah blah blah. I say that, and I do it every morning, and I can't believe that one. Can I call it a mantra or meditation, whatever? That one thing has changed. I mean, I believe in the law of attraction. I do. But to have it, to have it in my face like that, it's like all of a sudden, I started doing that. And all of a sudden, with that meditation, thank you again, Ken. With that meditation, it's like I get so backed up with work that I actually discovered one of the issues I've had in the past is not that I don't get enough work, but that I get so much work, I get overwhelmed and I run from it.
Ooh.
I noticed myself doing that as opposed to hiring people to help me with it, which is what I'm doing now, which I did in the past. But I think what happened was when I not that I like to talk about it, but when I lost my son a few years ago, I really hit bottom and I couldn't get myself out of the rut. I still have a hard time with it. It's only been this going on the 4th year, but it buried me in a way. And whenever I started finding myself getting too much work, I'd run away from it instead of embracing it. But it took only 3 times talking to a counselor, a friend of Allison's, just 3 sessions. I'm like, oh my God, I finally realized what was holding me back between that. And then I found out there's also 2 A personalities inside of me fighting for control, the businessman and the rock star. And it's constantly like that as opposed to getting them to work like that. So those three issues I found were really hindering me. And once I realized it, I was able to start focusing better, and things have really turned around.
Happy for you. That's good stuff.
Me too. And so is Allison.
Yeah, so you're a rock star. Let's go into your rock star.
Oh boy. Okay, so in the 80s, I was a rock musician. I actually came out of school and went to school for architectural design and oil field pipeline design. I got so bored that I went back to playing music. And in the 80s, I toured a lot with a heavy metal band called Stormtrooper, which had some national recognition and then we changed the name to Metal Force 5 later, but I won't go into too much detail. But after touring and getting in front of Atlantic Records and seeing that we're getting this record deal and all, I was the bass player, the guitar player and singer, decided that we're now rock stars, and rather than be happy in the direction we were going, they decided to go out party the night before we have a showcase in front of Atlantic Records. They go out partying. They come back the next day, the next night, and the singer comes to me halfway through a song and says, "I lost my voice, Jack. You're going to have to finish singing." Because I was a lead singer in a previous band, but I didn't know the words to any of these songs. I just knew the harmonies because I sang the harmonies. So now I'm going to have to get up there and make the words up as I go. And I'm playing, and all of a sudden I hear the sound behind me. The worst feedback I ever heard. I'm like, what the? And I turned around, where's my lead guitar player? So we have two guitar players. One of them, the one with the big fluffy hair, is gone. And I say big fluffy hair because I see this big fluffy hair coming up from the side of the stage. She literally fell off the stage. So they partied so hard that the singer couldn't sing because of cocaine issues, and the drummer was drunk off his ass and fell off the stage in front of Atlantic Records. So we get signed off to an affiliate, these two attorneys who totally had no clue what they were doing, wanted to turn us from a heavy metal band into a pop type band like Bon Jovi, because they were big Bon Jovi fans. And we were not that. And well, I don't want to disrespect the other musicians because some of them wanted to really do it. But anyway, long story short, Bobby and Rick are no longer with us. And I decided I had to get away from the music business. I couldn't deal with it anymore. It just really, I was so depressed over what was going on. And I got away from it. And it wasn't, and so in 1989, I left the music industry. I still did a little dabbling until 1995. But in 2015, Allison, my partner, fiance, boss, introduced me to this guy, Joe Cotton. And Joe said, "Hey, I need a bass player." I'm like, "Well, I don't really want to get in a band again," but he talked me into it. And then the passion came out again. And before you know it, I'm like, "Allison, we need a recording studio. I need this mixer. I'm buying a new bass. I'm buying this. I'm buying that." Joe Cotton gave me a drum set, and boom, we turned our video production studio into a video studio and music recording studio, which is where I'm sitting now. And you'd be able to see it if I could have gotten my camera to work right.
That's okay. We can see it. It looks very cool
Green.
and mysterious behind you. Yes. We look
Two
forward
huge green screens.
You're doing an album, right?
Yeah. So I've been working with other musicians for a long time, and I've worked with as a sound engineer. I've worked with as a sit-in engineer for bands such as Foghat, Leon Russell, and I've done shows with Dr. John. So I've done some concert sound before. I've done a lot of club sound, but I decided I've worked a lot with other people, and I decided I'm going to release my own album this year. And granted, I'm too old to be a rock star, but
never say never. No.
Well, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to release it. And if anybody out there likes my music, I'll be happy. And with every song I release, I'm releasing a music video. So I just finished recording and filming for an artist in New York who is doing a rock opera. I think I mentioned that in the early part. And I'm putting out an album But I also have I've also started a rock opera that I started many, many years ago. And a lot of the stuff is already recorded. I just never finished it because I play all the instruments and I just got bored after a period. You know, you hear the same song over and over and over and over again. Eventually, you could get bored with it. So I would get like 3 or 4 or 5 instruments down, get maybe a couple harmonies down, and then I would get bored and leave it. Now I'm taking that stuff and new stuff I've written. I'm actually going to release an album by the end of this year. And it's either going to be a regular album or it could be a concept album, because I have all these songs. I haven't determined which ones I'm actually recording. But yeah, I am definitely working on it. We've already started working on 3 songs. So I know 3 songs that are going on it. And I have a girl singer that I'm working with who's absolutely phenomenal. We're only working on the first couple of songs. She doesn't know she's working on the whole album with me yet. So hopefully she's not watching this and say, how dare he? But yeah, she's from Israel and speaks fluent Hebrew and fluent Russian.
Beautiful.
And she's so phenomenal. She comes in, plays piano to a song she wrote, plays piano and sings it, and then sings the harmony. And now I'm laying down bass and guitar and harmonies, and we're going to release this as part of my album since I am arranging it.
Sounds magical. I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, me neither. I can't wait to hear it.
Darlene says hello. She has little magical things there. And Paul, Dan Altmeyer says Paul McCartney is young. Thank you, Dan. That's a good one.
I like that. I'm a big Beatles fan. I actually have a band I put together every year for the Beatles on the Beach Festival here. It's called Strawberry Lane. And we do Beatles music with a girl singer. And this last year we did it with a hard rock guitar player. So we do Beatles songs, and we do the arrangement, the chord structure is the same. The harmonies are pretty much the same, but we do it with a harder feel, more of a, just because we're doing the Beatles on the Beach Festival, we can't compete with all these Beatles tribute bands that, you know, get up there dressed like the Beatles, blah, blah, blah. So we approach it from somewhere different. I figured, well, let's give them something different. And it's worked. I mean, I get some great singers to do these Beatles songs. I mean, they're women, and we sing harmony together. And then I have this phenomenal lead guitar player who's a cross between Eddie Van Halen and Jimi Hendrix. And he lays down some stuff. And I've got a bunch of videos online. I should have gotten you some links to them, but
you can. We'll put them in the thank you for attending video email that
okay.
Eric sends out, and we'll be happy to
I'll give you some links.
If you could do
some
it.
of them are with the hard rock guitar player, and some are with they're different singers, different guitar players. Each year I've done it now for 3 years. I've had different musicians.
Very fun. Yes,
I've had the same drummer though. I have a girl drummer. She's always with me.
I know an amazing girl drummer.
Do you?
She's a big-time artist, yes, and she's actually coming down. I don't think she's bringing her drum set, but she's going to be at the Ken and Glenn show July 6, 7, 8 in Dallas, Texas. Her name is Patricia Gagic. G-A-G-I-C.
I know who she is. Yeah.
Have you heard her play?
No, that I haven't. I know her as an artist. I mean, a visual artist. I didn't know she was a musician as well.
Yeah, she picked up the drums, and like anything, she picks it up like that. So maybe she'll come down for your beaches thing. You get a lot of people. Is that actually on the beach? Is it actually on the beach?
No, it's okay. So where we live in Delray, there's the strip called Atlantic Avenue, and it runs east and west. So it runs from the end of the strip, runs to the beach. And it's only about, I don't think it's more than a mile or a mile and a half at the most. And it's all restaurants and bars, and shops. It's awesome. You just walk up and down the strip, and there's just so much to do. So there's an amphitheater on the Ave that holds close about maybe 12 to 1,500 people. And that's where they have the main acts perform. But then all the clubs and bars up and down the street have Beatle tribute bands during this period. And all the restaurants have like Beatle drinks and Beatle surprise meals, and everything's based on the Beatles. And this year is the Beatles and classic rock, because they even had a Kiss tribute band. And the funny thing is that the bass player for the Kiss tribute band, the Gene Simmons guy, got stuck in an airport and he couldn't make it. So they got a guy from a Beatles tribute band who knows all the Kiss songs, because Kiss are big Beatles fans, so there's a lot of crossover there. And the funniest thing is watching Kiss up there with a guy in a Sergeant Pepper outfit,
I love it.
Beatle haircut, and Kiss makeup. Playing with Kiss. It was, and I did get pictures and video of it, so I'll have to get you some of that as well, because that was hysterical to see. But the guy was so good. The guy that got up there and did the Kiss with them, he had a phenomenal voice, great player. It worked, and they
And
pulled it
there
off.
on the spot. What a guy! What talent!
Yeah.
You're surrounded by great people.
Yeah. So the event isn't actually on the beach,
Okay.
but
What's the
it's
date?
right here by the beach.
What's the date of it?
It changes every year. Last year it was in January. It'll either be December or January when it comes in. I'll let you know.
Yeah. I bet
It brings over 10,000 people to Delray Beach, and we have some really nice hotels. As a matter of fact, from our house, I can walk to 6 different hotels. I mean, we live in a resort town, and it's really beautiful here. I love living here. I absolutely love it here.
I bet. Sounds wonderful.
You know
I
who
love
else lives
beaches.
here?
Beaches and oceans. That's my jive.
Craig's sister lives here in Delray Beach.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
Very fun. I do remember when I first met you, correct me if I'm wrong, you telling me about this Atlantic Avenue in Delray Beach. And you were filming something for Halloween, and there was a bar crawl, and you had a drawing or something, and everyone was in costume, and it was amazing.
Oh yeah, that was Lake Worth Beach, which is just down the street. That's about 10 minutes from here. So that's another little town, just a little bit of ways from here. And this was back in I don't know, was it I think 2014. So we did, I was filming for a film called Beach Zombie Rampage.
Beach Zombie Rampage. Seems like I better watch that one.
Well, you can't. It wasn't released.
Oh, man.
Yeah, tell me about it. It was one of the greatest disappointments of my life. So we were filming it in 3D because I have a 3D video camera, professional 3D video camera. So I was hired to film it, and it was great fun. But well, I'll tell you what caused it to fall apart. But it was one person. But what was so great about it is the way the producer got people to come out was he had a pub crawl. And he told everybody, come dressed as zombies. If you come dressed as zombies, you get discounts on drinks in all these various pubs. So it was the same thing like the Beatles on the beach, but now it was a little bit smaller. But they had over 150 people dressed as zombies up and down the streets of Lake Worth. And the sheriff's department started getting phone calls about a zombie invasion in Lake Worth. I'm serious. People thought there was a zombie invasion. The sheriff's department was called out. And when they finally caught up to us, it was so funny because they realized what was going on, and they came and told us, do you realize that you got everybody in Lake Worth thinking there's a zombie apocalypse? Do you understand the panic and what's going on right now? And the producer's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. We didn't mean to do this. He said, no. He said, this is hysterical. You don't understand. This was a slow night. All of a sudden, we're getting all these calls for zombies. He said, keep it up. At one point, we had blocked off one of the roads without asking for permission. And this one guy comes over and says, you can't do that. You know, there's always a Karen or a Carl out there. You can't do that. It's against law. I'm going to call the police, and we're going to get it taken down. And he called the sheriff's department. But by the time they got there, we were already done with what we had to film. It was just a short little thing. And when the deputy got there, the guy was obviously drunk, and he was real belligerent. So the deputy told the guy to get lost, and asked us, "Are you guys finished? Try to finish up real soon, because we got to open the road up again." So we lucked out with that. But 150 people dressed as zombies. The town went crazy. It was in the newspaper the next morning. We saw scenes on the news the next morning, all because of this zombie invasion. And it was just a pub crawl that turned into a 3D zombie shoot. And then we had other days where we actually did it right, where we just used small areas and we filmed. But that one night and the filming, we had a flash mob, like Thriller, and they were all dancing to the song Thriller until they came out with the original music. and a whole flashlight, and I filmed it from a rooftop, and over 100 people down there dressed as zombies. It was just amazing. So once in a while I get to have fun like that. Yes.
So all you indie makers, your YouTubers, your podcast people, if you think it through and be creative like you guys were, how you can maximize your dollar to get more for it and make a big impact and have a lot of fun.
If that movie would have been released, but it didn't get released because the producer got handsy with a couple of the actresses. And one of them, he got it. Yeah, I didn't know him personally. I was just hired to do the job. And unfortunately, he had all the model releases and everything. So I have all the footage, but I can't legally release it. So I have it all for my own enjoyment. It looks great in 3D. Ooh.
Maybe you could pursue it because maybe it's a statue of time or something for how long it's been, and maybe you get permission from somebody.
I don't know.
Stick it on that, what do you call it? Those vision boards. It's up there finished with you as a producer.
Well, I thought about using some of the scenes for a music video. And when they do come out, if VR keeps on getting more popular, I'm thinking about, because I can do 3D and I could put it up on a screen inside in VR. And I think it would look great in VR. It's still not completed, but probably about 3/4 of the way done. But I could still use the scenes in music videos, and maybe even do my own little story. But then of course it takes time because then I have to create that, and I'm still working on an album, and who knows, halfway through it I might say that'll be the album.
So all these people who are going to want to work with you because you're a man of so many talents and so much good equipment and so much knowledge and so much musical chutzpah, and you can play and sing and play the drums. If they want to work with you, do you have any time slots? How does that work, or you're totally booked for life?
Well, I just finished up a big job. We had the Beatles on the Beach stuff that I filmed. I finished editing that not too long ago. Then I had I filmed the Delray Beach Candidates Forum and candidates for mayor and commissioners. So I filmed the Candidates Forum. We did a live broadcast because I also do live broadcast. We did that, and then I did 5 the mayor's interview video and 4 commissioner interview candidate interviews, and I finished those, and then I immediately got to work with this producer that came down from New York for 3 days, and I just finished his stuff up, and now I've got a couple of odds and ends things going, but I don't have anything big lined up anytime soon. So I got some coming up in a couple months. Doing about 14 TED Talks in June.
Oh, yes. I keep meaning to do one of those. So he's got a little while now for Easter break if any of you need immediate assistance. And your website is, how do they reach you?
Our website is batcatmedia.com.
Batcatmedia.com. Maybe Eric can post that up there. And we are almost at the top of the hour. And I know, right? We're just getting in our role. We're just getting in our groove.
I know. I'm like,
we could talk forever, and we will have to do it again. But meanwhile,
I promise I will know how to hook my camera up by then.
Okay.
I don't understand. I don't know why. Maybe Ken will be able to tell me. For some reason, I couldn't get my OBS to work with StreamYard because you
can ask him that in the next meeting.
Yeah, there you go. I'll ask him that tonight. You got that, Ken?
Well, to keep your spunk and your happiness and that good spirit and your goodness and kindness in your heart coming out to the world, what do? I know you drink a lot of water. I know you're doing meditation. I know you're doing Bod Proctor. Any closing words or something that moves you besides the little saying? Who's this one? I now release the gold mine within me. I'm linked with endless golden stream of prosperity, which comes to me under grace in perfect ways. Oh, you know who that is? That's Florence. What's her name? Florence Shoeshine. That's not Bob Proctor.
Yeah. I didn't know that one.
Anyway, do you have something like that?
God, not that I can think of. I'll think about it as soon as we hang up, of course.
Okay.
But Yeah,
And your
nothing. I
your
mean,
favorite
nothing.
book? What are you reading? You think you told me. Not
What am I
Awakening.
reading?
Not Awakening. It's an inspirational book. I have one too.
Well, right now, I'm reading a book called, oh, what's it called? How to Be Supernatural, I believe.
And for the science part of your brain.
Yeah. Well, I'm always looking at the science behind the law of attraction and the
The law of
various
attraction.
laws of
That
the
was
universe. Yeah, and the various laws of the universe. I'm always looking at a scientific connection, and I filmed a scientist, a neurological scientist that talked about the law of attraction. I can't remember his name. I wish I could, but I filmed a presentation from him. I still have all these presentations. I just can't remember his name. But he was talking about neuroscience, and it just sounded like he was talking about the law of attraction. And I asked him, I said, "Are you talking about the law of attraction?" And he said, "Well, that's not what we call it in the scientific community, but yes." So to hear that, and I need to go back now that I'm going to go back and listen to it again, because now that you got me curious, because the fact that I tied it in scientifically, the law of attraction, it's been proven to be scientific. The laws of the universe have been proven to be scientific. It's been proven that we are energy. We are not really mass. We are energy. And when we die, it's not like that we really die. It's just our energy is converted into another form. And that's the same with everything. Anything, nothing actually dies. Everything is converted into a different form. Just like water, when it heats up, it turns to steam and the water goes away. It's not gone. It's become steam. And then what does steam turn into after it goes up in the air? I assume it comes back down as water, but I'm not a scientist, so don't quote me on that. But yeah, but it's just funny that when you really, I mean, that it's just that we're all energy, and because we're all energy, we're all vibrating energy, we are all connected. So we may be individuals, but at the same time, we are all connected as one. So when you think of like science fiction movies, like, oh, they're a hive, the aliens, they're a hive. In a way, so are we. We're all connected through energy. So I guess I did say something that I didn't even know where that came from.
Perfect. Because you are amazing.
Okay, I'll own it.
Excellent. Excellent. That's my little chant I like to close with. We go, you are amazing. I am amazing. We are amazing. So we'll get Eric on to do it with us. Are we ready? Come on in, Eric. We're going to go, you are amazing. I am amazing. We are amazing. As loud as we can.
Okay,
1,
where's Eric?
2, 3. You are amazing. I am amazing.
Amazing.
We are
You're
amazing.
amazing.
It works in the morning in the mirror, kind of get your juices going because and you bring it off forth so you can walk out. It works great on top of a mountain. It works great in a tunnel. It looks great on the beach. You can whisper it. You can go in the men's room or the women's room before you, or the interpersonal room before you go on stage to give your speeches, and give yourself a little, I am amazing. You are amazing. We are amazing. Here, we can do it again. One more time. All together. Audience, jump right in. Because you are amazing. I am amazing. We are amazing. Thank you so much for being with us today, Jack.
I so appreciate it.
We just like touched the droplet on the top of that iceberg.
Yeah, but the first time I ever met you, I was drawn to you because you really are amazing. And I'm not just saying that. Just from the first time I met you.
Ooh.
And then I found out you were actually a mermaid, and then you stole my heart.
Woo! I'll have to come swim by.
There you go.
Thank you
right here by the ocean.
No, it's very appealing. I almost moved to Florida, but you never know. I'm open. You will never know what I'll turn up.
That's true. After all, you have a self-driving car. You have a self-driving car. You just get in there and say, "Car, go." Take you wherever.
I do.
There you
okay.
Go.
Thank you so much. Goodbye. Thank you so much, Grace and Ken Walls and Dan Altmer and Darlene Easton and everyone else who joined us. Come and see us again next week at the same bat channel.
Same bat time.
7 p.m. Eastern.